All right, guys, this is going to be the third or fourth time that I'm recording this podcast episode, but you know what? I really wanted to put this episode out, so I'm just going to do it. I'm going to get right into it. Okay. I have a question for you guys. Oh my gosh. So let me ask you a question. How do we go from self care being about renewal to it becoming a me first type of movement, a me first lifestyle that tells moms to put their needs above everything? Even their families. It's actually pretty controversial, but here's the truth. This modern self-care culture isn't actually helping you thrive. It's actually keeping you stuck. So today, we're diving into the lies that culture tells moms about self-care and how they're holding you back, okay? And what real self-care looks like when you're running around the household, running a household, nurturing your faith, and of course, dealing with the chaos of flu season. Because moms, let's be real, okay? When sickness hits your house, no amount of bubble baths or lattes are going to save the day. But I've got some practical tips, natural remedies, and even a homemade flu balm that's going to help you get into this flu season. We'll get through the flu season. All right, let's get into it. So culture has done an excellent job actually of turning self-care into this commercialized, self-centered machine. Everywhere you look, it's this thing, that people are saying, you got to treat yourself, or you can't pour from an empty cup. And while there's actually some truth to that, idea that you actually have to care for yourself in order to care for others, we don't want to get that whole thing twisted, okay? The world's version of self-care actually shifted into something more toxic, right? It's actually all about this thing called escapism. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Escapism, zoning out with Netflix, spending money that you actually don't have on luxury retreats, or even neglecting your responsibilities because you deserve it. Let me tell you what you really deserve. You actually deserve freedom from this trap. Okay? Biblical self-care is actually a little different. It's not about running away from your life. It's actually about stewardship. So we're going to do some Bible. Okay? So 1 Corinthians 6, the Bible right here, 1 Corinthians 6, verse 19 to 20 actually says, my God, can't believe I'm doing this for the fourth time. Okay. So 1 Corinthians 6, verse 19 to 20 says, or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God, right? Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. God calls us to actually take care of ourselves. In 1 Corinthians 6, verse 19, he calls us to actually take care of ourselves so that we can actually show up for our families, serve our communities, and actually live out the purpose that he has for our lives, right? So real self-care is actually rooted in discipline, it's rooted in balance, and it's also rooted in faith, not actually indulgence, like binging Netflix, scrolling TikTok for hours on end, eating all the foods that you know are not going to be good for you, the processed food and all that stuff. So now that we've got that out of the way, we've got an idea, we've got some understanding. What does real self-care actually look like? It looks like managing your health, right? Prioritizing rest, and connecting with God on a daily basis to refill your cup. And there are actually three things that I've learned along the way that I've been thinking about lately when it comes to self-care and stewardship. So self-care is stewardship, meaning you're actually caring for what God has trusted to you, right? Your body, your family, and your home. So sometimes we could kind of look at our lifestyle or maybe like the things that we have begrudgingly, and maybe we don't actually appreciate the things that we have, but really you very well could have actually not had any of those things, right? Maybe you could have been like, maybe God could have decided that he didn't want to bless you with a family. He didn't want to bless you with a home, or he didn't want to bless you with resources. He didn't want to bless you with a job. However, he gave you those things. So self-care is actually, stewardship. It's actually stewarding those things that he blessed you with well, appreciating them and not taking them for granted. And also just, even if when it comes to motherhood, training up your child in a way that they should go. It's biblical. That is stewardship. Okay. The next thing, self-care, is actually preparation, right? So when you're healthy and whole, you're ready to face life's challenges, whether it be, a tough parenting moment or whether it be flu season hitting your household. Proper preparation is going to prevent poor performance. I think it's so funny because I actually got that line from my brother-in-law. And I always think it's so funny, but it is a fact. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. If you want to prevent performing poorly, prepare properly. Okay. The other thing is self-care is actually purposeful. It's not about me time. It's not about me, but it's more about equipping yourself to fulfill God's calling on your life. And in our context, we're talking about motherhood. We're talking about following Jesus. To redefine self-care as stewardship, we want to understand that self-care is actually purposeful. right? And it's not about spending time focusing on yourself at all times, but it's about actually equipping yourself so that you can do what it is that God calls you to do as a mom. So here's the thing, stewardship becomes especially important during times like, the flu season, which we're in the middle of right now. Flu season is wreaking havoc, okay? And norovirus is sweeping the nation. It's sweeping through homes like wildfire. And if you're not taking care of yourself and your family, who's going to do it, right? So let's shift gears a little bit, talk about how to protect your family during flu season and during this 2025, well, 2020, more like 2024, 2025 flu season. So let's face it, flu A is everywhere. Okay. Norovirus is everywhere. As an ER nurse, the rate with which I've been seeing patients with flu A and norovirus has been out of control. I think if I see 10 patients at the beginning of my shift, at least 5 of them have flu A or norovirus or symptoms similar to norovirus. Flu A is everywhere and norovirus is tagging along for the ride. So as moms, it's on us to prepare and protect our household. And that actually starts with prevention. Here are some tips for flu prevention that I want to actually share with you guys. The first thing being immune boosting foods. So you're going to want to make sure that you're loading up on foods that are high in vitamin C and zinc. Foods such as oranges, spinach, bell pepper. Those are staples in my house. Not so much spinach, but mostly bell pepper and oranges. We actually eat a lot of tangerines here. We cook bell peppers pretty often. Those are some of the examples of foods that you're going to want to stock up on. Of course, lemons, of course, garlic, onion, things like that. You got whenever you have the flu, it's great to put onions under your feet. That's going to help to pull out impurities from your body. And of course, making the flu bomb that I'm going to tell you guys about later on. The second thing, another tip that I have for flu prevention this flu season is elderberry syrup. Okay, so elderberry syrup is actually a natural remedy. That's actually been a game changer for us, and it's packed with antioxidants to help fight illness. You can actually make your own. A friend of mine actually makes her own elderberry syrup. Or I think she does elderberry syrup or elderberry gummies. Either one. If you have kids, you could either make the syrup or you can make the gummies for your kids, and that's an easy way to make sure that you're doing something good for your body. You're doing something good for your kids. It's made from home, so you don't have to go and buy it. You can make it from scratch. Um, and it'll help to kind of like boost your immune system during this flu season. And then the third tip that I have for you guys, of course, hygiene. I cannot stress this enough. You need to teach your kids how to wash their hands properly and regularly. Something that I actually do with my daughter, is I taught her how to pretty much whenever she goes to wash her hands, she just counts from 1 to 20. So from 1 to 10, she's lathering her hands up in soap, counting from 1 to 10, and then from 10 to 20, that's when she's rinsing her hand. So every single time she goes to the bathroom or to eat or do anything, she's washing her hands and she's counting to 20. And it's simple and it's effective. It's a simple but effective way to get your kids into the habit of washing their hands. And of course, as adults, we should all be washing our hands anyway. So now let's talk about the norovirus. So if this bug has already hit your home, okay, the focus for norovirus is damage control. Okay, hydration. The first thing you want to think about is hydration. You're going to be vomiting a lot. You're going to be having a lot of diarrhea. You're losing a lot of fluid very rapidly. Hydration is going to be the main thing that you want to focus on once you're able to tolerate fluids orally. Because, unless you're able to get an IV treatment, the first thing that you're going to want to do is hydrate. Oh my gosh. Wow, what a life. I'm so tired. So one thing that I did when we had the norovirus, one thing that I did when we had the norovirus in our household is I actually went to the pharmacy and I got electrolyte solution. You could actually go to the pharmacy and get electrolyte solution and make some electrolyte popsicles for your kids. They also sell the electrolyte popsicles from Pedialyte if you don't have a popsicle maker, but instead of doing that, I chose to get the electrolyte solution and I have popsicles, because the ones that they sell at the pharmacy that are pre-made, they're wrapped in plastic. So it's not like something that if you have a 1-year-old, that they could hold it. But I felt much more comfortable just making my own with the electrolyte solution because I have popsicle makers in my house. I shook the thing and it was ready to fall. But yeah, so you can make electrolyte popsicles for your kids. The second thing that you're going to want to do is sanitize. Sanitation. You have to disinfect everything. Get yourself some bleach. If you're like me and you don't actually keep bleach in your house, you're definitely going to want to get your hands on some bleach. Clorox wipes. Okay, you're gonna have to wipe down everything because the virus sticks around. So you have to actually stay on top of it. If one person gets it, the next person in your house is bound to get it, because if you're not making sure that you're containing the virus to wherever it is that you're vomiting or having diarrhea, and it's very easy for it to get everywhere because you can't see it. If you're not containing it, then it's going to get around. When it comes to sanitation, if you have little ones that are needing to vomit, get yourself some sort of like a bucket or a basin. Yeah, they do say that you should use like disposable yak bags, but like if you don't have yak bags, you could actually get like a little basin or a bucket or whatever. I wish I could show you what I use, but get yourself a basin, and what you wanna do is place like napkins inside of it so that you can prevent splashback as much as possible. That's just one thing that you could try. Even in your trash can, you just want to make sure that it's deep and hollow so that when your kids are vomiting, if you're holding them over this thing, if you're not able to get them to the toilet to vomit into the toilet or the sink or the tub, you're gonna want to get some sort of a basin and make sure that it's nearby. Put some napkins in it so that you prevent splashback so that when they vomit, it's not getting everywhere. Because it can get everywhere and you won't even see it. So that's one thing to keep in mind when it comes to sanitation during your norovirus damage control. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is think about making simple meals, right? So that's sticking to bland foods like bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast, aka the Barat diet. Okay. So if you are like me, we didn't really do the bananas and the applesauce, but we definitely did a lot of club crackers. My kids love club crackers, so that was the easiest thing for me to get them to eat after they were kind of getting that bowel rest. Bowel rest is very important, especially when it comes to, kids that are vomiting and having a lot of diarrhea. They are going to need a lot of bowel rest. But once they're ready to tolerate foods, and of course, speak to your doctor first on what you should do. This is not at all like medical advice. This is just me sharing with you what I did in my household and what helped us. But yeah, definitely when they're ready to tolerate food, you could start with club crackers, any sort of saltine cracker, because there's a little bit of salt in there. And then of course it's a little bit of something to get um, to satisfy their hunger a little bit. I know it can actually feel overwhelming, but remember, you're not just managing the chaos, you're stewarding, your family's health, which goes back to what we were talking about before when it comes to self-care and stewardship. So when things get tough, I've got a secret weapon to share. And I just want to tell you about the flu bomb. So the flu bomb is a natural remedy that works. I've used it when I was pregnant with Gabriel. I actually ended up getting COVID, I think 3 times. I got COVID once before giving birth. I got COVID, I think 2 weeks before giving birth. And then I got COVID again the week that I was giving birth. So during that time, it was really tough on me because that was the first time I actually had a fever to the point where my body was shaking and the muscle aches were insane. But taking the flu bomb was actually the best thing that I was able to do during that time because it helped to curb my symptoms a whole lot. So it has actually saved me and my family more than once. It's Barbara O'Neill's flu bomb. If you follow me on Instagram, I actually demonstrated a video of me making it while I was pregnant because I just wanted to share this because I know it works. And I wanted to make sure that as many people as I could I wanted to make sure that my followers and all my friends knew about this natural remedy. It's a powerful immune booster. It's a game changer for when you feel something coming on and also when the flu is actually fully active. So here's how you're going to make it. First, you're going to get 1 clove of garlic. You're going to crush it or mint it. Juice of 1 lime, teaspoon of grated ginger, a teaspoon of honey, pinch of cayenne pepper. And then you're going to want to mix all of that up with a 1/2 cup of warm water, or you could just do room temperature water. I've always done room temperature water. And you just throw it in the blender, blend it up, and you could make a big batch. So what I usually do is I'll make a double batch so that I can have it every 4 to 6 hours. Yes, it's strong. It's very strong. If you're somebody who has a sensitive stomach, you might want to put more honey. So you could instead of putting 1 teaspoon of honey, you could put 1 tablespoon of honey. And it's strong, I know, but it works. This remedy, this remedy helps to fight off colds and flu fast, and it's a great way to strengthen your immune system naturally. If you're like me and you're moving towards a more holistic lifestyle, the flu bomb is your way to go. You need Barbara O'Neill stan, but understand if you are a Barbara O'Neill stan, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I speak about the flu bomb. Now, let me say this. If you or your kids are seriously ill, of course, seek medical attention. seek medical help as soon as possible. What we did when the norovirus first hit, not when it first hit, when my daughter first got norovirus, because I was actually at work. Like I had just finished recovering from norovirus. I went back to work and then she got it. She was home vomiting the first day that I went back to work after having norovirus. And so I had to go and leave. But the first thing that we did was we did a teledoc. And if you're able to do a teledoc or call your provider, your pediatrician, call them as soon as possible and see. And of course, there are a lot of other natural remedies that you can do for the nausea and the vomiting. But for those early signs, the flu bomb is my go-to, and I swear by it. Here's the bottom line, guys. Self-care isn't just about you. Okay, going back to the topic of self-care, it's about showing up for the people that God has entrusted to you. So when you take care of yourself, your body, your health, your spirit, you're equipping yourself to lead, to serve, and to thrive. So I have here. Gosh. So this week, I want you to take action. Okay, start by replacing one escapist self-care habit with something that's actually restorative. And maybe that could be for you taking a morning walk. Maybe that's spending time in prayer, even trying the flu bomb. Okay, when you feel run down, because you don't only have to take it when you have the flu. And if your household is battling sickness right now, I am hoping and praying that you're going to make it through. If you have any questions, please reach out to me and let me know how I can best support you. And of course, share this episode with another mom who needs some encouragement. Thanks for tuning in to the Holistic Mom Life podcast. And remember, you were chosen, you're capable, and with God's strength, you are unstoppable. Even during flu season. Until next time, stay strong,